Live from New York, it's Ask This Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, and we're here at the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan where we broadcast our live shows like this one, which is Ask an Engineer. And I'm the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control and helping manage all the streaming and stuff. We've got an exciting hour of news, engineering, hacking.
It's a show.
Products, Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity.
That's right.
All sorts of cool stuff going on, and we're going to tell you all about it.
Okay. On tonight's show, we have a code. The code is Maker.io. We'll tell you about why the code is Maker.io and more, but that gets you 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, except for gift certificates and software. Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects. A lot of fun folks and a lot of cool projects came by tonight. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Read some fan mail and more. Time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. 3D printing. A couple good videos. Some Pi news of some new products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a top secret product. We have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Woo!
That's right.
Woo, I say, woo.
Woo is the correct thing to say.
It's not the code, but it is the word I'm saying.
Yeah, good point. The code is Maker.io. No.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. We got
Right.
some projects
We'll
and more.
Yes.
And some videos we're doing. All right. Well, let's
kick it off.
Let's kick it off. Okay. For everyone who's wondering, we still have the free shipping, $200 or more UPS ground in the continental U.S. Same day. This came up, we had a meeting today with our friends at Radio Shack, believe it or not, and we were talking about some of the things that we do here at Adafruit, including same-day service. So if you're in Manhattan and you're checking out before 11 a.m. and it's one of the zip codes that we do same day, it'll say same day as an option, and you can do that.
Order by 11 a.m., get it by 5 or 6.
Yeah. One thing that everyone should keep in mind is there is a holiday. Happy birthday, United States.
Yay, it's our country.
Yeah, so...
it's kind of working out.
Hey, like, we're still here.
Hey.
Not the worst.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Yay.
We're doing good. And so part of that means we're going to be celebrating. Adafruit will not be shipping orders on Monday, July 4th in observance of Independence Day. Any orders placed after 11 a.m. Eastern Time Friday, July 1st, which is Friday, will go out Tuesday, July 5th.
Oh, it's even on Monday. Okay.
Yes.
So really, closed.
Yeah.
Closed.
So...
keep that in mind.
That's right. Next up, a little programming note. This is Ask an Engineer. We do this every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We just finished the show and tell, which was 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We do each of these shows every single week, and we've been doing this forever. Part of the
Since
Adafruit,
the beginning of time.
Yeah, part of the Adafruit live series. So Desk of Lady Ada is one of our live shows, and then this week we mixed it up a bit. So we had an interview with the president of DigiKey. Watch it. A lot of people really liked it. And then we had the first of a video series that we're doing. We're doing 10 videos.
10.
Yeah. So this is
number 1.
Yeah, this is our launch partner of Circuit Playground, Maker.io, which is powered by DigiKey. This is DigiKey. And Maker.io is their kind of maker-to-market site. One of the things that we're doing is showing each step of how you designed Circuit Playground. So the first one was concept. And how did you come up with the concept of Circuit Playground?
Yeah, and it's an honest, realistic view of how to take how the concept of a product came into being.
Yeah.
Right? What were the things that kind of pushed me towards designing this, and what inspirations I had, and why the things that were in the market didn't match the solution. So it's like the very beginning of design.
You went through it, and what I liked is you acknowledged and showed that there was other things out there. A lot of times when companies talk about something, the charismatic designer CEO is like, and then I was in the shower and came up with it. It's like,
I
actually...
was skiing in Aspen, and while I was drinking my $8 hot cocoa, I was inspired.
Yeah, and the reality is there was times where this was, parts of Circuit Playground was from something 10 years ago. You were doing a workshop at IBM, you were doing all sorts of other stuff, and you're just trying to figure out a low-cost way to deliver a solder-free workshop pack, workshop kit. So anyways, if you're interested in the history of Circuit Playground and all the different steps, we're doing a video a week for 10 weeks, and then we got this cool photo
That's
of...
the DigiKeyer.
Yeah, we got the DigiKeyer, and then we had Circuit Playground. And what's neat is we got permission to show this. We're going to do a blog post about it, but we got the schematic for the DigiKeyer, the electronic keyer. So this is the origin of DigiKey. So as we've been doing videos and talking to them, I think we're the most obsessed with the DigiKeyer.
I'm totally going to turn Circuit Playground into a keyer.
We were allowed to borrow it because there's only one. But if there was a museum of electronics, the DigiKeyer would certainly be in there. And then the rest of the videos that we're doing, so this weekend is research, and then after that's evaluation, design, prototyping, funding, marketing, production, distribution, support. So we're going from start to finish of Circuit Playground. So research is next, and it's pretty much like how and why and where you did your research. And as someone who has been around you for 10 years now, I'm amazed on how you use electronic part sites. So I think that in itself is worth watching.
Dude, I'm like one with EagleCAD and the DigiKey searching system.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to EagleCAD too. We have all sorts of.
See,
we got all sorts of
unending.
news.
Yeah.
So, anyways, if you're interested in research and how Lady Ada researches parts and more, that'll be it'll be 10 p.m. Saturday night. So. Okay.
You know where I'm going to be Saturday night, 10 p.m.
Yeah. So next up, watch Tony D's desk. That's our series that Tony DeCola does. And this week, he's on a roll. 3 videos, so, and I think one right before the show here, so I might be missing one. But Circuit Playground color sensing demo, the Raspberry Pi SQL sensor storage, part 4, and then the Raspberry Pi quick look at a Volumio R2 music player. And then I think he just did one with Circuit Playground and Fermata like right before this, so I didn't get in there. So there's 4 altogether. And what's interesting is on the show and tell, people were saying how they're learning with a lot of these videos. They learned with your testing video. They're at the manufacturing site.
Yeah.
And then learning, I think, some Python stuff from Tony D.
Yeah.
So I'm glad these are useful for folks. We spent a lot of time on doing videos. And then layer by layer, Noam Pedro released a new video this week. And this was CAD tutorials. So custom threads for twist tops.
Ooh,
so if you want to learn
fun.
how to do that with a 3D printer.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that 3D printers excel at, like being able to put threads in so you can have something attach.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. Hard to do with casting, but easy to do with.
And then this weekend, we're going to be working on some pseudo-random stuff with Colin. And we're going to do a couple upcoming videos. One is guitar pedals, the next one is ferrofluid, so that'll be fun. All right.
Maybe guitar ferrofluid.
Show and tell, Lady Ada. People around the world, every week, show and share their projects
and I write it down.
with you, and you write it down.
Yeah, so I remember.
Yeah. What was on the show and tell this week?
Okay, we start off with Tony DeCola, who did the Circuit Playground stream on Fermata with Adafruit IO, so showing how to use Fermata with Adafruit IO to make a dashboard. Also Volume IO, which is a Raspberry Pi distribution for audio, and he's going to build a Raspberry Pi into a radio and make some sort of cool radio Pi. And then he got his ham license, so he picked up a Baofeng UV5R, which is this $30 radio, which can do I think 2 meter and 70 centimeter, and also FM radio. It's kind of an all-round general purpose radio, and they're very inexpensive and small, so they're very popular with him radio enthusiasts. So he got one, and he's been listening into some nets. Noah and Pedro have an upcoming project. We're going to show the video soon, but tomorrow they'll be releasing the Pi Zero wearable camera. So it's like a stop-motion camera you can wear. It will take. You can actually do it for video, but the default code just takes a photo every 15 seconds, and then you can stitch them together to make time lapses of your day. So it's a little like a recording camera of what you did. Could be cool for people doing science studies. Like, what did I really? How many times did I really go to the refrigerator? Or how long do I spend? Sitting down versus standing up. This kind of camera wearable is a neat accessory for that.
If you're at a desk all day too, it'd be interesting to see the times you sit, the times you look at your phone. What do you actually do during the day? Like a time lapse of yourself. Yeah.
Carter, who showed off an 8x8 LED matrix video editor, viewing editor last week, this week showed off a Raspberry Pi A clock that had the time. It had 4 8 8x8 matrices, but then it can also, because there's a Raspberry Pi in it, can also act as a weather forecaster. So by running this code, it actually turns the 4 icons from like 1 to 58, like 1258, to like sunny, cloudy, thunder, wind or whatever. So he has these icons that he drew to represent the weather forecast for the next 4 days. It looks really cute. So you're gonna check that out. It's got little feet. So that's neat. And he has a camera he's gonna show off next week. Orlando had a super sweet DIY pulse sensor that has auto leveling, so auto grounding, to avoid the auto DC offsetting adjustment. And it's all analog, no microcontroller, and it has a heart that pulses with the beat. So that's a really cool project too, so check that out. What's interesting is like when I was doing electronics in school, people built ECGs, but nobody built pulse sensors, but pulse sensors are like really easy to build. So it's kind of interesting, like I wonder why. Like I think people should have built more pulse sensors.
Well, the other thing is I think the world of biohacking and knowing what to do with some of this data is more available, so more interest in building them.
No, true. Okay, Scott he's doing his drone startup.
Yeah.
He was at Macrofab, which is a small scale manufacturer. I think it was in Texas.
I think so. They're going to send information because one of the things that we try to do is connect makers with companies that can do low volume manufacturing. We don't do contract manufacturing. The only thing that we make outside of Adafruit stuff is the Arduino.
Yeah. That's a one
that was the one exception was arduino.cc. By the way, if you want to support arduino.cc, buy an Arduino from Adafruit or from arduino.cc, made in America electronics. So anyways, so what we try to do is we try to connect up these companies.
Yes.
So we'll do a post about this. And apparently they do fulfillment too, which a lot of makers are like, well, I got stuff made, but now I have to send it and I can't do that.
Yeah, and they had you shut off the oven, they had a My Data stenciler and then a My Data pick and place, but they were like separated because I think they just do small batches.
Yeah,
and then they also do fulfillment. They apparently do a lot of crowdfunding fulfillment, so that's kind of neat. So check that out, Macrofab. Roberto had a 3D printed pegboard kit for all his tools. He's been playing the Slither IO game, which I guess is like a really fun game, and he made a NeoPixel Huzzah pin that kind of like has the same worm effect, and then he made a Raspberry Pi with Java Enterprise scoreboard. So it uses the frame buffer to have a scoreboard, so it displays on TV, and then you can use the back end to change the score and like how many periods and like. So you can use it for basketball, and then how long is each period, so you can do score tracking and game tracking.
That's cool.
So it's a really nice, very like intense project. And then C. Scott is still running his Kickstarter. It's at 83% funded. If you want a really, really good synth, check it out, the Chrominius synthesizer from C. Scott, Old Crow. He's a really, really good engineer. I'm sure the synth is going to sound super sweet.
Yeah, and for no other reason, something he worked on in the past is one of the reasons that Lady Ada even got into electronics. And so did I, some of his earlier projects.
Yep.
So it's a good way to say thank you back.
I also, you know what's funny?
Good hardware
between
project.
Old Crow and Radio Shack tone dialers, that's like kind of
yeah, we're here because of others.
Because of others, yeah.
So, all right. All participants in the show and tell get an seen on the show and tell sticker. If you were on the show and tell, email support@adafruit.com and we will send you out one. To get on the show and tell, all you do is go to google.com/+Adafruit and you'll see a link at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And if you click it and you have a project to share, I turned into Canadian there for a second. A project.
We are scheduled.
Yeah.
It's that time.
For projects. They will be able to join the show and tell and show and share their projects. Okay, let's keep moving.
Yep.
Mailbag.
Hi.
All right, this packed mailbag. Every week we read your fan letters, feedback, and more. We read these at our all company meeting called State of the Fruit for our staff. This is from Chris. Thank you for making the logo rainbow to support inclusiveness everywhere. It means a lot to so many people, and it's nice to see it in places where people don't have to do it. Thank you so much, Chris. Yes, for the people who go to Adafruit on a regular basis, you probably notice we changed the logo out to celebrate all sorts of things throughout the year. And in New York, this, of course, was Pride Weekend, so there was some rainbows.
It was awesome.
Flying around.
We went around to see Pride Parade. It was energetic and amazing.
Yep. And stay tuned to the Adafruit site for more interesting logos, quotes on the page, and all sorts of things. If you go to the site every day, you'll notice one of the things we do is try to celebrate everyone. So
We
if-
celebrated Tau Day yesterday.
yeah, Tau Day. We actually, we had to some of the math we had to squeeze into the quotes more, but we did it. We got there. Okay, Maker Business News. This was
Huge!
So this was on.
Wednesday? No,
Well,
Monday.
it was adafruitdaily.com. That's our newsletter if you want to get spam free, and we never do anything with your info. We purposely did another site just for newsletters to prove that there's no way separated from your customer account. But we also post this on Twitter and on the blog. So EagleCAD, your favorite place to live, was purchased by Autodesk. And it was a little bit of a surprise, but not really. So
Because New York had just been sold.
yeah, Premium Farnell is going
Who's
through.
the previous owner?
Yeah, they're going through some tough times, and like you could kind of tell there's some consolidation in the market. So Microchip just recently bought Atmel. There's all sorts of mega mergers, and we resell Eagle.
Yeah,
And-
one of the few distributors.
We're number one in the U.S. right now for EagleCAD.
Do you know about EagleCAD?
And it's
course.
interesting because if you look, Autodesk has started the portfolio of electronic products, and they have a lot of online tools. And so this isn't surprising that someone bought it, because I think that Premium Farnell is, and they said in their statement, they're trying to reduce a debt load. So they, of course, no one ever gives numbers, so I had to do some math, but it said they reduced the debt load by 8%. And when you do the math, it sounds like EagleCAD was bought for about $22 million. And until I'm told differently, I guess
I think it's about 20 million.
Yeah,
that
so-
makes sense to me.
Yeah,
it's
so
it's about right.
if someone emails us, whatever, we'll.
It's a team of like 20 people, I think.
Yeah. So this company was bought before, and now it's going to Autodesk. So you're probably wondering what does this mean for makers? Glad you asked. So we contacted the folks at Autodesk, and we said, can we send over a bunch of questions from people like Lady Ada who use Eagle on a regular basis and have some questions? So they said they're going to answer them. And
Like, is
send
this
us
the
back to
end?
us.
Is this over? Is everything horrible? Everything's going to be horrible now?
Yeah.
That's one question.
No, I mean, we just want to know what's up.
Yeah,
what's
what's
up? When I was an author at Make, I wrote about what Instructables means to the maker community, what it meant when Autodesk bought it, and that article is still there. So this is going to be an article that I'm going to publish on Adafruit site, and it has a lot of questions from the team about the tools and some of the direction and anything that they can answer. Some questions if they can't answer, it's fine. But anyways, that interview will be up soon. So breaking news. Next up, if you're in New York, the Call for Makers is open. We're tight with the Maker Faire folks, Sherry and Louise and Bridget. So hey, how's it going? And we just saw them at the White House and the DC Maker Faire. So if you're a maker in New York and you want to be part of Maker Faire, you can now submit the project and more that you want to show.
Yeah,
So
show off.
anyways.
It's the
Yeah.
second or third largest fair. It's awesome. It's in this great museum. It's kid friendly, but also there's like a dark room, and you can do lights and music.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty cool.
It's a very broad based fair.
Yeah,
and a
so.
lot less crowded than San Francisco Maker Faire. So that
Some people like big crowds, some people
people
like
do something.
smaller crowds. But either way, and there's enough maker fairs. You can go to, like DC was a lot of fun. I could see going to the DC one when the New York one gets so crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyways, we had some visitors today. So today, so Radio Shack was recently purchased
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and we met the company, the entity that owns Radio Shack, and we met their chief innovation officer, this is Brandon, and we chatted. So we're kind of exploring what's possible with Radio Shack. They have an entirely new team. They have
Yeah.
a bunch of stores. They're trying to figure out their place in the maker world, their place in all sorts of other business units that they have. And we also saw them at the White House and the DC Maker Faire. So we have some ideas, and we're going to talk to Radio Shack. We want to live in a world where there are local places where people can go to get electronics that they use to build things at any time. Radio Shack currently is the best bet for that. So maybe we can make some suggestions and more. But it was nice to meet the team, and thank you, Brandon, for this nice shirt. We had asked. So Radio Shack didn't have black shirts for a while, but now they do. And this was
They
one of
did
the
start.
ones. This is one of the ones that was at DC Maker Faire. So Radio Shack's back. But you know, if you're going to relaunch a brand, a black shirt is the way to start, I think. Okay. This is Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity.
I'm so friendly, I would never sell your data to.
I'm not going to sunset your service ever. Okay, so we have some updates on Adafruit.io, our Internet of Things service for makers. We actually have 3 updates.
Ooh.
Todd did a bunch. Okay, so the first one is from the forums, and it was a 2-button and 2-LED project, and it's using the MQTT service that we have and the library that we have, and check it, use it, play around. It's a good way to get Adafruit.io experience if you want to do an Internet of Things service. Next up, this is interesting. We were talking to Todd about this, and he did it. This is really neat. So one of the issues with MQTT is if things don't work out, like it says, oh, you're trying too many times, it doesn't give you any information saying.
There are some return codes, but they're very kind return codes that assume that nothing malicious is happening.
Yeah, well, sometimes we need to throttle connections,
Yeah.
and then sometimes we might need to ban a connection just to keep, as Todd said in this, the health of the server. So there's no information that the user gets to see. So Todd sent this off to the Oasis MQTT technical committee for comment, and we'll see if it works out. We can add it to the client libraries.
We did to our library. I mean, we've modified our MQTT broker to support these 2 codes. So the examples now.
Now we need everybody else to.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last up, another update using last will, and so basically, like, what happens if the server does something and then it disconnects, or you disconnect, like a power outage?
Yeah.
Well, there's a last will. I think it's like also called like dead man switch or something. But
Yeah, basically, it's like. If there's right now MQTT doesn't, it's kind of stateless, so it's like I got a message 8 minutes ago, but it doesn't say whether or not the client is still connected, and so this will actually, when it disconnects, it'll update the feed with a last message, so you could have it update to say like disconnected or like 0 to automatically turn off. So if the client disconnects, like if it's connected to like a boiler or something, or like a tea kettle, it'll automatically turn everything off to have the safest.
Or it can go the other way. If it disconnects or something happens, it can trigger something. Like Goonies was an IoT project, and the pirate ship sailed off.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
It's true.
Yeah, it's an IoT project.
Yes.
Okay. Lady, we have over 1,000 tutorials in Adafruit Learning System.
We have 1,005.
Yeah,
so
what
we're
are
getting there.
What are the tutorials? Yeah, now it's going to be like, okay, let's get to 2,000.
Yeah.
What tutorials are there this week that you want to talk about?
So this week, I published a tutorial that was actually should have been published a while ago, but I kind of never got to. It's the Adafruit 8-channel PWM or Servo Featherwing. This is a featherwing that we released a while ago. We finally put together a tutorial for it that has code and examples and GitHub files and all that good stuff. So if you've been using it, I mean, we had code, basically you pointed you at another tutorial that was good enough, but this one also has assembly instructions and stuff. And so we're going to go through and we're trying to fill in all of the products that have missing tutorials. There's a couple here and there that, other than the most basic breakouts, should probably have a guide that goes with them. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
John Wall did this really cute 3D printed Ada friend. So it's a little friend with sensors on it, and it's like a little Tamagotchi, but it's a little Ada friend. These are 8x8 matrix, and it has little faces that it makes to let you know how it's feeling. Aaron St. Blaine did an LED campfire, which would be really handy for people doing props, I think, because I've heard of people like, oh, I want to do a theater, LED campfire type deal, and we can't set a fire clearly on top of the stage. How do I mimic a fireplace? And she did a really good job of showing how to use LEDs and fiber optics to do a very successfully mimic what a fire looks like with all the sparkles and the flames coming out. So it's kind of very tricky. I mean, she did a very good job. It looks almost exactly like a true fire with embers. And then we have the Feather M0 radio. That's a new product for this week. This is the last Feather radio. Got all 8 of them done, every single combo and type. The Feather M0 radio is Cortex M0 SAMD21 chip, same as the Arduino Zero, but this one has a packet radio. It's not a LoRa radio. We have those already. This is more like a low-cost packet radio Very cheap, very easy to send data, like 300 meters, 500 meters apart, and it comes in 400, 900 megahertz. So it has the library, how to use it, how to set up networks and send packets around and all that good stuff.
Okay. All right. Time travel. So every week in time travel, we do all sorts of things. We look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers. Now, Adafruit's 10 years old now. So what and I've had a phone for like a year. So at least this phone for a year. And so what I decided to do is I'm going to go through some of the photos from this exact time last year. Okay. So this week, I'm going to do time travel of what were we doing last year at this time. Okay. Special time travel. So Noah and Pedro sent me a 3D printed mask, and this is when our manufacturing, no, this is last year. This is when our manufacturing was on a different floor, because we have more floors now.
That's a great mask.
Next up, we made the first Arduino.
This was handmade.
This was handmade.
This is the first handmade
signed
prototype.
by Massimo and Lady Ada, because we announced together with Arduino during Maker Faire Bay Area in May that Adafruit would be making Arduinos. And that's how fast. So we had some of May, but not really. June, and then July.
July 4th.
July 4th. We said we would ship. And there you are, shipping out the very first batch of Arduinos from Adafruit.
The first 200.
Yeah.
First 100 or 200.
And so we did it. It was really tough, but we did it. And we're really proud of our partner, arduino.cc, and our Adafruit team that was able to get this done. And we moved. And here's MOSFET jumping on our stuff. So that's what we did last year this time.
Yeah, we moved out of that place.
That was our time travel. So what's funny is MOSFET was jumping from a robotic pet box into an empty box, and he's a meat pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robo-pet, meat pet.
Yeah.
So he's still alive.
MOSFET's still alive. Good work, MOSFET.
You posted a Vine today of the cat.
Yes, we did, because there's a rumor that we just show photos of MOSFET, but we can't have them in the factory. So we showed a Vine of MOSFET looking at the world's loudest purring cat.
Somebody's going to eventually demand that we show like today's paper with the cat, like they do.
I think this video is pretty recent, so I think this is better than a newspaper.
Yeah, they want like some proof, like hostage proof.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, so 3D printing. We got some videos. Yeah, we have a few things. The first thing is a time lapse, and here is a castle. And tune in tomorrow for 3D Thursday, 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. And I'm going to
merge.
I'm going to skip around. So we have some Pi news, and then we have another video that's 3D printed that is also Pi related. But first, I want to do Pi news. Raspberry Pi has a job opening. I saw this on Twitter, and unlike our normal segment where we do a jobs board thing, Adafruit job board, adafruit.com/jobs. I wanted to show this job because there's a lot of people that want to work with Raspberry Pi, and sometimes they don't know if there is a job or how they would do that, and here it is. Come work with us. We're hiring a senior program manager, an assistant accountant, and administrator. Apply raspberrypi.workable.com. So if you're thinking of doing things with technology and educating people and having a cool cause and a cool business, this might be for you. So This isn't on our jobs board. This is the Raspberry Pi folks, but I wanted to help them get the word out. So that is a Raspberry Pi job. Next up, you're probably saying, if there was only a video with a wearable Pi Zero camera,
That would make your day, huh?
that would tie in the 3D printing segment
With this, yeah.
and the Raspberry
Look at
Pi
both,
segment,
2 in 1.
like a dual extruder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of those mesh hearts that twist
Like
and
a
it's like, oh, it's a heart.
like
yeah.
a mesh heart.
Yeah.
So let's watch it.
You can make a DIY wearable camera using a Raspberry Pi and camera module. This is a great project for capturing time-lapse photography to make some amazing video. The Raspberry Pi Zero is the perfect size for this project. Use it to capture your daily activities and keep a visual log of your memories. The Raspberry Pi camera module version 2 can take 8 megapixel photos and rocks a Sony IMX219 image sensor. You can get the parts to build this project yourself from the link in the description. Follow the tutorial on the Adafruit learning site for code and assembly instructions. A 3D printed enclosure keeps everything together in a sweet little package. A 500 milliamp LiPo battery provides about 2 hours of use and can be recharged over micro USB. Configure settings like intervals and change the resolution, shutter speed, and exposure. A micro SD card will store all of your photos and the Jessie Lite Raspbian operating system. So whether you want to capture your scenery or monitor your progress, a Raspberry Pi Zero and camera module is a great platform for your project.
So that is our 3D printing and Raspberry Pi combined.
And it's like the perfect project, like the new Pi Zero, which has the camera connector. It's like, when we saw that, the first thing I thought was, wow, we can finally do that wearable camera project that we've been wanting to do for a really long time, but we never had a Pi that was small enough, low power, had the camera connector. There was, all these things had to be just right, and finally that happened. It's like a very slim case.
Yeah.
Like for, it's for a DIY project, it's very compact. So I think it'll be a very popular project. Of course, it can be modified to turn into like a video camera or like a GIF camera. So any kind of portable video camera project, I think this is a great.
Yeah, the Pi folks love camera projects too, so I'm going to send this to
Yeah, we're totally going to send this.
Liz.
Yeah,
Evan,
to make
and
their
Matt.
day.
Yeah, okay, so.
They need their day made because they live in England and things are kind of sad over there.
Something happen over there?
No, nothing.
Okay. Maker.io is the code, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Maker.io is because we're doing a series of videos with Maker.io powered by DigiKey. We did the concept video, as you recall, and then we're doing research next.
It actually reminds me a little bit,
Thank-
we did the 10 videos with Hackaday. Remember we did 10 videos for the Pi Zero launch with Hackaday, and now we're doing 10 electronic design videos. So maybe this will be our new thing, like every 6 months we'll do like 10 videos about
Here's the thing. We really
Decalogue.
like an editorial calendar. It's like, oh, now I know what I'm doing for the next 10 weeks. Like we seem to thrive in that, even though it's a little bit more work and sometimes it's challenging because it just means that every Saturday night we're going to be doing electronics. But my point of view is you're doing electronics anyways.
Yeah.
So we may as well put a camera on you and you talk about it. Yeah. All right. Want to do new products?
Yeah, let's do new products.
All right. Let's do new products.
New.
Yeah.
New.
You're singing over the new song.
I know.
It's okay. All right.
I think that's like the best part.
That you're
It's just a mess
you're
here.
layering the new song. Okay, that's fine.
Who knows?
All right.
Whatever.
Let's start off with these buttons.
Oh, these are really cute. So I don't really know what these are for, but I couldn't help it.
I know what they're for.
I mean, I know what they're for, but like they're
It's
just
for turning on and off things.
Well,
and,
yeah, but
and you're probably saying, boy, these are boring because they don't light up. Nope, they do.
they light up. So they're little buttons, and I would have kind of maybe liked a generic, like just a point, but the only ones available right now were these ones that had power symbols on them. So I'll show them on the overhead.
Yeah, we're going to the overhead.
You do need to have a choke resistor, so there's just a little 10K resistor, or a 100K resistor I put in here. And yeah, so this is red and we have blue. There was a green one, but it was really dim, so I was like, I don't really want to carry the green one. But it basically has the same footprint as a 6mm button. So like I'll take this out. It has the same footprint as a 6mm tactile button, but it also has these 2 legs that you can bend out, and then they're very long, so you can kind of bend them around and turn them into like a light up LED. And the button and the LED are separate. Like the LED is this part, and then the button is this bottom part, and then the LED like snaps on top. So you can have it light up when it's off, when it's on, whatever. It's very customizable, and you can basically just use it with the normal 6mm tactile footprint, and then just add 2 holes on either side for the LED. I don't know, fun little icons. I think they're cute looking.
All right.
There you go. Hi.
Yeah.
Beep beep. So very adorable.
I like them.
I like them
All right,
too.
next up, got a whole bunch of these.
Yeah, I got a whole mess of these.
Yeah,
you can tell like there's one supplier, and I was like, I'll just buy like one of every type. So I think these are pretty useful.
Yes.
So this is
the real photo, because this is like, okay, well, you got an HDMI
it's
thing.
connector. What does that mean?
Why are you talking about this?
So these
Good
are
question.
a collection of terminal block breakouts for various audiovisual type things. Like we have the terminal blocks for RCA and 3.5mm, but I was like, well, what about more complicated stuff? But I found them. So these are breakouts for like HDMI, and I wouldn't necessarily use this for like, I'm going to build my own HDMI cables. It's not cost effective. Like with all the terminal blocks, it's cheaper just to buy HDMI cables, like if you want to build one. But if you need like a special HDMI connection, or like you're building your own HDMI generator using an FPGA, or like some microprocessor, or you're doing some like DVI to HDMI
you might be
conversion.
troubleshooting a HDMI output device, and you're just like, and you might have to.
There might be all sorts of, like you want to break this out to like some HDMI decoder and encoder, or you want to just borrow the power and I2C pins, whatever. This is much nicer than splicing a cable. So
just send some of these to Bunny. He does HDMI.
Yeah, I mean, like I only got like 100 of each, but I think they're pretty cool. So yeah, these have terminal blocks, and they're nicely soldered. The HDMI ones are a little pricey, so I got versions that have HDMI. Also, I got ones that do not have the terminal blocks.
Yeah, I've got other photos, and the ones that have terminal blocks I just showed. Here's one
that doesn't. It's the exact same thing, but it's a couple bucks cheaper.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have terminal blocks. You just
want
solder
terminal blocks? Here you go.
Yeah, these are the 0.1 inch terminal blocks are a little pricey. So you have, this one's a little bit more compact maybe, but they're just cute little like DIY HDMI connectors. I mean, it's weird. Like I've only thought of like one time in which I could have used this. There was one time I was detecting whether a television was on or off for an art display, and the art display was supposed to like detect when people walked by and turn on the TV, but the problem is like sometimes the TV wouldn't turn on or off. So I actually ended up splicing the HDMI cable to read the voltage on the I2C pins, because that would tell me. It was like a weird hack, but it like worked.
Yeah, but if you think about it, most like art installations have a giant TV thing that turns on when you walk by. So maybe this will be like for the 2,000 people who need that. Okay.
I think these are actually used for people who are making like weird custom runs. You can use like Cat6 cable to make your own custom HDMI cable that's like 100 feet long. You're totally not supposed to do that, but like maybe you could. I actually don't know what these are even for.
Yeah. Okay.
Like hardwiring. Anyways,
all right, and then we've got the other kind of version of these.
Yeah, these are the sockets.
Which is the socket ones.
So they're like they come in this like panel mount thing, so it's kind of clear. Like I really do not know.
And we did the same.
For, but yeah.
We did the same thing when we got these. So we got ones with and without the terminal blocks.
Yeah, they're soldered on. Terminal block, no terminal block. You can panel mount it. Handy for when you want the other side of HDMI. So these are annoying connectors to solder to or SMT. I was actually going to make an SMT breakout, but then it turns out this is actually, I think, way nicer than what I would have come up with. Especially since it has like a nice panel mount, and you can connect to it. It's all done for you. So
I guess someone mentioned that I guess you could potentially like power something. You can make an adapter and like steal power from an HDMI
I think
device.
that's like one thing you can do, because there's a weak 5-volt power availability.
Woo!
I mean it's.
You could charge your phone.
You could. It's like 50 milliamps, I think.
Yeah.
But you can grab some data, or maybe you're doing some sort of weird man-in-the-middle HDMI stuff.
Ooh,
this
that's
is exactly when you would want
Good
to use
times.
this stuff.
And then you got some other types here.
Yep, and so while I was out, I was like, you know what else is really handy? Getting DE15 and DE9s.
Yeah.
So this is DE9 male
Yeah,
and
these
female.
will actually, I can see.
These are actually what was like I was like, these are gonna be the most handy. So this
I
is
can think of like 10 times in my life, like this is exactly what I needed, but it didn't exist.
you know where you should be able to buy this stuff?
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack. So this is, can you go to the overhead and I'll shut that off? So these are serial port connectors, what they're usually used for, but you know what? They're actually end up, these DE9s end up on a whole bunch of stuff, sometimes like joysticks
They're on
or
everything.
like analog connectors or like equipment. So same deal, you get larger terminal blocks, but you still get terminal blocks. They come in this nice
Yeah.
case. They're low cost enough that I just got the version with term blocks. And then you've got the version that is plug and the version that's socket. I got these without any hex nuts because like you always get the wrong polarity. So I was like, you know what, like just no hex nuts. And so if you need to permanently attach it, I mean, they do press fit pretty well.
Yeah.
If you need them to be stronger, you'll have to jig together your own 440s, I think, to create the hex nut. You know what I mean? The screw assembly. Like they have the slots for them, but I thought it would be confusing if they were included, and like they're always the wrong, you know, you get male type or the socket, whatever. Anyways, so you can just press fit these. But great if you're creating your own custom cable. Like definitely there's times when it's like, oh, you need a null modem, but like with a diode in between, or like there's all kinds of,
Yeah.
you know, like the, remember like the Palm Pilot used one of these connectors, it was weird, or like you have a radio.
Yeah.
And it has one of these
We were
connectors.
trying to get the Apple QuickTake camera working again. I need a serial
Yeah,
port.
you need
I
one
was
of
like,
these.
oh, what
And
was
it's
I
always
thinking?
it's always like a non-standard. Oh, like DTR should be tied to like
Yeah.
ground. I don't know. Anyways, this is where it's going to be handy. This is going to be handy for you
Yeah.
to do
Okay.
that.
And then the stars.
Oh,
of
wait,
the,
no, I have one more.
Oh, you got one more.
Yeah.
All right. Show them the overhead.
And then the last set is the DE15s. So sometimes known as VGA connectors, but again, this connector was abused and used for a lot of different stuff. Break out all of the pins. They're enabled by number, not by the VGA pins. But I've definitely had times when I needed this. I remember like making a VGA connection or connector, like connecting to a VGA panel or CRT.
Yeah.
Or like if you know, there's ways you can like bit bang VGA. Like of all the video outputs, VGA is the easiest for a microcontroller or microcomputer to bit bang. So this would make it really easy to connect up and plug it in. I don't know. I think these are handy.
Yeah, I can think
No
of
soldering.
I can think of 5 times where you and I need to do something, and you're just like, I'll just take this cable and chop it.
I know I keep chopping cables, but it's annoying. You know, by the time you end up chopping the
you could just have one of these.
and then it's sometimes you can't solder them, and you're splicing it. This would have just solved the problem. We just used.
The cable you
Cat 6.
may not chop, may be your own.
That's true.
Okay.
Save a cable.
Yeah.
And use adapters. Okay.
I'm not
so
making
that's-
any more cable trees, folks. Okay.
little
So now,
folks.
the star of the show beside you are these.
The
feather.
final feathers. These are the final feather radios.
Yeah.
We've like done 2 a week for a couple weeks. We're gonna get back into getting a lot of hardware out, but we were traveling and stuff. So this is what we got this week. This is the Feather M0 with the RFM69 packet. It is a 433 or 900 megahertz packet radio. I mean, it's not packet like AX25, it's packet as in it packetizes the radio for you. It's like super easy to set up radio networks and links. Way less expensive than XB, Wi-Fi, or Bluetooth, and you don't have like, it's very lightweight. Like you can just transmit packets and receive them. Like you don't have like access points and like,
Yeah.
you know, setting up like pairing and client master. Like this is just sending and receiving data very,
Yeah.
very easily.
If you like all that complicated stuff and paying more, then there's other products. But this one, you're just
There's
down
times
the
for-
wireless business. I was going to ask you, because sometimes we get emails about the LoRa line. So what should someone look at before they email us about frequencies and all that? What's the key part of this particular product before they say, well, actually,
Like which frequencies they should use.
Yeah,
in the zone.
yeah.
If they're, depending on what ITU, International like Telecommunications Union, whatever, country you're in, there's 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. There's different frequencies that are in the ISM band, which is the scientific and medical use band, the
Okay.
industrial use band. In America, that's 915 megahertz. In like North America and I think South America, it's 900 megahertz, 915. In most parts of Europe, it's 433. And in Japan and then other parts of Asia, it's 868.
Okay.
And so depending on what, and you'll have to look on Wikipedia or like just Google around for what is the ISM band for your country, because again, it matters. So we have one 900 megahertz radio that can be tuned to 868 or 915.
Okay.
And we have a 433. So you can actually use the 433 legally in America if you're a ham radio.
Gotcha.
If you're an amateur
So
radio.
these are all the differences, minor, but matters.
And yeah, but we have both. Basically, the thing is, most people who do electronics kind of know because they're like, oh, like all my devices are 433, so like I know that that's the legit one. But basically, Europe is 433, America is 915.
And is that why we
Asia
have
is
these different
68.
ones?
Yeah, so that's why we have multiple frequencies. And then the LoRa radios are for a very long range. They use this chirping wideband method of communication, so they can go very, very far. That's very good when you're willing to spend a little bit more to get ultra long distance.
Like a balloon?
Like a balloon would be really good. I saw actually a CubeSat that was using LoRa, which is freaking cool. Or just like long distances. A LoRa radio, long range is good, but you pay for it. It's more expensive. There's licensing and patents involved with it. So you're paying like $10, $15 more. Whereas with the RFM radios, it's a basic FSK radio.
Okay.
It's very simple, very low cost, but again, doesn't have as much range. I think these go about like 300 meters, and the LoRa's go about 2 kilometers.
Okay. And this one is which one?
This is the lower cost RFM 69, the low cost
okay.
FSK radio.
And what's the megahertz? What's the frequency?
We have 433 and 900.
So is this 433?
The green dot is 900.
This is 900.
Yeah.
And then, so what you're saying is,
but the photos are, I mean, it's basically the same photo. There's
Yeah.
one little dot that's all different.
so what you're saying is,
That's 433.
that's 43. And that
The red
one is
dot.
okay for
Europe.
Europe.
And America if you
And
have
America.
a ham radio license.
If you have a ham radio license.
And
okay.
you don't turn encryption on, and a bunch of other things that ham radio people know because they took exams.
Gotcha. So it sounds like ham radio license for this one.
In
the
America.
US. Yeah, in the US. Okay. All right, so these are the two. And you said the only difference on the product is one has red dot.
The red dot is the 433 because it's written on the back of the
Yeah.
module, which of
Yeah.
course, when you buy the module, it is soldered onto a thing, so you don't know. So we get the factory to put a little green dot or a red dot to let you know what frequency band. And 868 and the 915 is by far, we don't want to stock like all three, so the 915 can be tuned down to 868. It's
Okay,
fine.
that's smart.
Yeah, so you can just use that.
All right.
And honestly, you can actually, if you're doing like ham radio experimentation, you can tune the band. I mean, it's an FSK, I think also OK, an ASK radio. You can use it for general purpose, like digital radio. So you can tune it around for different frequencies.
Okay.
Yeah, within the range of the analog front end.
And what that lady is, your products, good work. You did it.
New.
Okay, anything that you saw in stock when we were going through the show, Maker.io is code 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. This is how we support Adafruit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not distressed debt. We're not getting bought up yet.
No, not
We
yet.
learned a lot of interesting things. I asked the hedge fund owner who bought Radio Shack questions about what they saw as trends with like good management teams and more. And maybe that'll be a Maker Business
Yeah, he
article.
actually was very insightful about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, I asked because
This guy was fun.
yeah, because anytime someone sees companies failing, like what's the common theme? And it was one of the questions I had because not often does someone see so many opportunities to maybe give advice or save something or say that's definitely not going to work. So I wanted to know. Let's do some questions, lady.
Yeah, no, we've got a little bit of time.
We got plenty of time.
Let's do this thing.
Yeah. All right. Post
Questions.
post your questions. Oh, actually, you know what? You were going to show a top secret product.
Okay, but why don't you tell them to ask the questions?
Yeah, start asking the questions. We're going to do a top secret for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a
this
super,
is top secret.
super simple.
Can't ask anything. Don't ask. It's not out yet.
Yeah.
Lady Ada, what do you want to show?
Oh, so it's this little new Flora rev. So we're revising the Flora. It's been out of stock for a couple weeks, maybe a month or two, because we're revising it, and I wanted to just get Circuit Playground going. But the popularity of Circuit Playground with the large pads made me think I should revise Flora. So the new Flora is going to have these large holes. It's otherwise identical, but just has larger holes. So you can very easily clip alligator clips onto it. and then I'll probably revise like the GPIO, because this is just like more secure. And I thought most people were going to be using Flora to sew it, but I see a lot of people using it with alligator clips.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to make it a little easier to do that. It's part of the things that inspired me to make the big alligator clips on Circuit Playground, was seeing how people use Flora. So otherwise identical, but this will be in the store soon. So we'll get the revision in. I know people have been waiting for Flora, but it's worth the wait.
That's neat. That's a nice update.
Big holes.
All right, so that was our top secret product. Don't ask. But it's now time to answer questions, Lady Ada. I'm going to throw questions at you, and you're going to hit them out of the park. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. There's a bunch. Is the LoRa products that you showed good for a mesh network? No, they don't do meshing.
You know, they don't really do meshing. I mean, okay, so none of these really do meshing, by the way.
Yeah,
like, you're going to have to
really.
do it yourself. So you can, but you have to do the routing yourself. So what's nice about the LoRa radios is they just work on of course, long range. So if you're doing a very distributed network, then yes, but it doesn't do meshing the way, like, there's some radios that are like, ooh, it has meshing built in. These you're kind of on your own. The RFM69 radios that I showed today do have like network and addressing capability, so like built in, which is kind of fun. Like, it's nice because it takes some of the load off of the microcontroller. Those would probably be a little easier, but you're still going to have to come up with your own mesh routing protocol.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Do you plan to get 30 AWG silicon wire in gray and orange? You have 26 AWG in those colors, but not 30.
Yeah, I think we're going to be getting spools of 30 gauge. They're going to get them in spools, and we'll get them in all color. It's going to be a couple more weeks at least until those come in.
Okay. Next up, Bluefruit Feather recognizes include AVR WDT.H watchdog timer, but ESP8266 plus Huzzah does not recognize that include command. Does the ESP8266 have a watchdog timer to activate?
Not the same way. It doesn't have a watchdog that's as advanced. So you'll probably just need to delete that line and then delete anything with your watchdog, because the watchdog on AVR puts it to sleep, and then it can come out of, it'll interrupt out.
Yeah.
Whereas the watchdog on the ESP resets the whole chip, which is kind of like, it's okay, but it's like not as much fun as most watchdogs. But yeah, basically it's a completely different watchdog timer.
Okay. Next up, what is a good Raspberry Pi project to get started with?
Check out any of our Learn Raspberry Pi projects. You can do really easy ones, from blinking LEDs to turning it into an arcade console with some buttons and some wire. But any of our beginner Learn Raspberry Pi tutorials will be easy and fun for you.
Okay. Can I cut an OLED display to fit a custom size project?
No.
Okay.
You will break it.
Next up, what's the release schedule for the Maker I/O series?
One a week.
Do you say every week? Yes, we're going to do one at usually 10 p.m. every Saturday night for the next 9 weeks. We already did
That's
one so
our
far.
ETA schedule, of
Yeah.
course.
I don't know. Something can happen.
Something can happen.
If we have concert tickets or something, we might have to go to a concert.
Yeah.
Okay. How difficult would it be to hardwire from Pi's USB to the Kippa's USB touchscreen? AR1100 IRC chip is a USB protocol highly sensitive to wire resistance timing.
It's probably not too bad. You could probably string wires directly. I mean, I always recommend using a USB cable because it's nice, and you can get ones that have like a little right angle thing going on. But you could probably do it. Like 6 inches is probably fine.
Okay. How can I learn about the 555 timer? I've tried, but I keep getting confused. Someone suggested to learn about the GPIO.
Yeah, Forrest Mims has a great 555 timer book. You could check that out.
I guess this is the general question. We probably have to know more, but should I use a relay or a transistor?
It really depends on your project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Price of your products depends on the product.
Yeah.
Next up, does the LoRa 900 megahertz with M0 have a DAC broken out?
Yes.
And the 900 megahertz, can it be tuned to 915 megahertz?
It is tuned to 915. We say 900 because it's like can be 868 or 915. It's fine. It's the same. The bandwidth of the filter is fine for either. You get the same output.
Okay. What's the max transmission rate of the LoRa's?
Oh, I do not know. I think it's like 10 kilobits per second, but check the data sheet of the chipset. It's like the SX1276 or something. It'll give you the max data rate. I think it's like 1020 kilobits per second. But for LoRa to have the really good range, you have to drop down the baud rate to maybe like 2400.
Our board manufacturer is able to plate the edge of a circuit board like on the edge of a circuit playground. How would you describe that in EagleCAD?
Not easily. I mean, they can, but what they have to do is they have to route the board and then plate it. You can do it with castellated pads, but doing it for the outer edge of a circuit playground is challenging. I think you would have to pay quite a bit for it. But what you would tell them is, you'd basically tell the board house with drawings what you wanted, and then they would have to route that part. And they would have to figure out for you, and they would have to like tab route it. It's going to be a pain in the ass.
Okay, I have an Adafruit Fona 5230. It won't read a web page using the Fona test setup with follow redirects and APM details of sketch. What am I doing wrong? How can I troubleshoot? I'd say
that's a forum post.
Yeah, I'd say go to forums.adafruit.com and post up what you're doing.
Yeah, we can't see your code.
Yeah, a lot of times even like a cell tower can be down. There's lots of things that could be. You never know. Okay, and then. Next up, this will be the last question.
Yes.
This person likes their stuff delivered. Okay, that's good. I guess we
delivered something.
Yay. All right. And then, is there any engineer apprentice programs that we know of? That's a little tough. It really depends on the area because you'd have to go somewhere. Yeah. There is no better time to get interested in electronics if you're motivated. And you obviously have internet connection, you're watching YouTube, you can watch a ton of videos, you can find a lot of things like junk stuff and start playing around with components. I mean, it's one of the things that the folks who are in your group at the Champions of Change at the White House said is, making doesn't mean just purchasing a kit or a finished thing. It actually means taking things apart, making them work different and better, and learning about things. And that's how a lot of us got here. Like, we took apart stuff and got in trouble. So I'd say start with that and just see where it takes you.
Yep.
Okay. That's that, Lady Ada.
Okay.
Those were the questions for tonight.
Yay! We got through them.
Yeah. All right.
Huzzah.
Okay, we're gonna give away something. What do you want to give away this week?
Oh, that's a good question. What would be a good thing you think to give away?
What do you want to give away?
I don't know. You want to give away 2 of the radios?
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Okay, let's give away 2 of those radios. We need 2 of them to really do anything. So we'll send you 2 of your desired frequency.
Yeah. What should they say if they win?
They should either get 2 times 3177 or 2 times. Oh no, so we only have the 3176. So we only have the 433 in stock. So that's what you'll get. You'll get 2 of the 433 megahertz. So this is a good one for Europeans or people with a ham radio license.
Do you know the PID for those?
3177.
3177?
Yeah,
okay.
I believe that's the one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make this super easy. You ready? What is the name of the president of DigiKey right now? You just did an interview with him.
Yeah.
It's on our blog. It's featured. It's on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Adafruit. All you got to do is type his name, and that's it.
President of DigiKey.
President of DigiKey right now.
His name is not DigiKey.
Yeah. Mr. DigiKey. And if you haven't...
We've heard to say the rules, but don't enter if you've won before. This is for new people.
I think everyone knows.
And you're going to get a 433 megahertz thing. So if you can't
42 is not the answer.
If you can't use it legally, then...
Eric Van Rode, congratulations.
Okay.
Dave Doherty.
Yay, Eric Van Rode.
Good work.
Nice work.
Nice finding, cutting, and pasting.
Good.
All right, Eric.
Good
All
cut
you
and
have
paste.
to do is email support@adafruit.com and tell them you won. And they won a
3177.
3177. That is the PID.
Yes, you
Our
get
team
two
will
of them.
You'll get 2
Wow.
of those. That's very nice of you,
Isn't that
Lady.
nice?
Yeah.
But what if they don't, it's like having 1 radio is not very useful.
Yeah.
More useful to have 2.
Okay. All right. Well, that was the show tonight, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Epic. It was an exciting week. Wow, so much going on.
A lot going on. Okay. And we have some big announcements coming up soon, too. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stuff going on.
I don't even know what we're announcing because there's so much going on that I can't even keep track.
It's the thing that's happening soon. That thing. I'll tell you afterward.
Okay.
The thing with the person and the stuff. And the,
Oh,
and the electronics.
yeah, the thing.
All sorts of things.
No, now I know what thing you're talking about. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's this really cool thing
Yeah,
happening.
there's a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. We can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to a picture of a cat.
Yeah, we will. Okay, thank you, everyone. Don't forget the code is MakerIO. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's how we pay the bills here. So we very much appreciate your support and likes and shares and subscribes and all that stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you next week. Here's a picture of a cat.
Meow.
And here is your moment of Zener. Bye-bye.